Hi everybody, I'm Sunflower for Digital Noob, and I'm going to talk about E3, a small wrap-up of Microsoft's press conference. They started the conference straight up with Halo 4, and they dove right into the gameplay, which actually looked an awful lot like Metroid Prime. A lot of people were drawing that same parallel, a lot of glowy things and a lot of cool weapons. It was a very long playthrough. It showed a bunch of visor changes, and Cortana was talking about decaying in a year. You know, they last 7 years or 8 years, and she's there for 7. So Halo 4 looked really good. Then they showed off Splinter Cell Blacklist. Mark and Execute is returning for Splinter Cell, and we saw a bunch of outdoor levels with a bunch of climbing. It also involves Kinect voice recognition to distract enemies and to also call in airstrikes. One of the negative things about their little demonstration was that Michael Ironside is not reprising his role as Sam Fisher. Then we went on to FIFA and Madden with Kinect. It still looks way too clunky. In FIFA, apparently you can get a card from a referee if you swear at the ref or say anything, untoward to them. Madden has very, very noticeable play lag on play calling with the Kinect. They call out Joe Montana, and it was pretty obvious that he doesn't really play any games, and that's not really his fault. They did choose him after all. But you can use Kinect for offense and defense, calling out plays and things like that. They also talked about their new physics system and how the animations are going to work, but to be honest, we've heard all this type of thing before. After that, they got into Fable: The Journey, and boy does that game look bad. They're trying, but it's very bad. It's just the Kinect game where you play as a mage and throw fireballs, and it's on rails. Does not sound very good. After this, Phil Spencer takes the stage. We talk about a very brief Gears trailer. Baird smirks a whole bunch in it. Doesn't really show us much of anything. Then we also get the Forza Horizon trailer, where someone who sounds suspiciously like DJ Atomica from Burnout, even though that's not the case, talks about cars coming and being able to drive anywhere. It looked kind of interesting, but it also didn't tell us very much at all. After this, they talked about Xbox Kinect integration being multilingual. They also showed off the Nickelodeon, Paramount, Machinima, and Univision app, as well as Xbox Sports, MLB.TV app, the NBA app, which will be nice, and enhanced interaction and picks that, things that you can choose while you're watching and see how other people selected it as well. After this, they went on to Xbox Music, which told me absolutely nothing. I don't use my Xbox for music, and you probably don't either, but for some reason they're still going. After this, they announced a Nike partnership, which is going to do a lot of interesting things with Kinect and Nike and exercise games, or apps, if you will. After this, we got into the Xbox Smart Glass, which is in a way their answer to the Wii U. What's interesting is that it uses devices that already exist, that you're already using, like your iPhone or your Windows tablet, things like that. And it's a real interesting competitor because the Wii U is going to make you purchase yours, and with this, it's going to automatically be something that you hopefully own, so you won't be having to buy anything new. They also debuted Internet Explorer coming out on their system, which, at this point, is way too little, way too late, but at least that's taken care of, and those are set to release this fall. After this, Crystal Dynamics was on stage for a Tomb Raider demo. Looked an awful lot like Uncharted. Announced DLC will be first on the Xbox. Very pretty game. However, it very, very much looks like Uncharted, like I mentioned, and you do get a bow, which is a common theme with games this E3 so far. Lots of bows. After that, they announced Ascend: New Gods, which is supposedly going to have asynchronous multiplayer, which is awesome to me, and Kinect integration as well. Did not show too much other than a pre-rendered, or not really pre-rendered cinema, but a scripted cinema. Not really much to say there. Same goes for a game called Loco Cycle, which has what looks like Edie from Mass Effect as a motorcycle in person, and then something involving a ball called Matter. Didn't really say too much about it. After this, they went on to Resident Evil 6, and they showed a ton of action. It really did look like a bunch of QuickTime events and some crazy action. We'll see more of that later. After that, Racketeer was announced for the Xbox. Or not really announced, but shown off. It's kind of a three-dimensional Angry Birds, where you break down castles. Very simple. Some people are saying it's a game of the show, but I don't know who those people really are. After that, they did show off the South Park RPG, which a lot of people have been very excited for. It is called the Stick of Truth, and you play as the new kid along with the rest of the kids. After that, there was a video for Dance Central 3, utilizing Usher, who was on stage and did a stupid little dance for everybody, which is fine if you like Dance Central. Me, I was just ready for it to be over. After that, Dan Metric comes out and introduces the final game of their conference, which also announces first look at the DLC for it, for Black Ops 2. It looked pretty crazy, but it also looked like Black Ops, and that was Microsoft's conference. Overall, very underwhelmed. Smart Glass is what I'm looking forward to. What about you? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for listening.